Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Ditch Decade Diets podcast. I am your host, Lorna, certified food freedom coach and founder of the Ditch Decade Diets Academy. I've spent 10 years in an unhealthy relationship with food, binge eating, over-exercising, and feeling insecure in my body. This podcast is all about helping you get to the root of your food struggles and teaching you how to rewire your brain so you can end binge eating. If you're ready to improve your relationship with food and cultivate more self-love towards yourself and your health, this is the podcast for you. So let's get to it and jump right in. Hello, Badass Podcast community. Welcome back to another episode of the Ditch Decade Diets podcast. Today, I want to talk about eating slower. How to eat slower and not inhale your food like it's a race. This was actually something that I had such a hard time with when I was on my journey to healing my relationship with food. I would always eat just so fast, like scarfing food down my throat. And it wouldn't even just be when I was binging, because that's the obvious, right? When you're binging, you're standing up, you're eating super fast. That obviously happened. But even when I wasn't binging and I was just eating a regular meal, I was always just eating so fast. Like I was always the first one done. And it was just like I was in this race. Like I would literally be done my meal in like 30 seconds and it would take like an hour to cook. So I want to give you some tangible strategies that will help you to be able to eat slower, because if you are binging or overeating, you probably eat super fast. And the problem with this, there's so many problems with this, but it takes 20 minutes for your brain to register, I'm full and I'm satisfied. And if you're scarfing your food down your throat so fast, this is oftentimes when you go get seconds and you eat more right away because your body hasn't registered full yet. So then you go get seconds, right? Because your body hasn't registered full yet. And then you eat the seconds and then you're not even full. You're like way past full, unless you're like so physically sick. Like it hits you like a ton of bricks. And that's because you didn't give yourself enough time. Now, I'm not saying like every single meal you need to eat within 20 minutes, because like that's quite a long time. And like not everyone has this like luxury to have 20 minutes to eat. You might be like, hurry up, I got 10 minutes before my next meeting, or I got to get the kids ready, or whatever it is. So I understand that, but it is important to eat slower, because not only are you going to be able to like have time for your body to register that it's full and it's satisfied, but you're going to enjoy your food so much more. And I used to think it was the opposite. Like if I eat super, super fast, I'm going to enjoy the food much more, but you can't even taste the food when you're eating super fast. Right? Like, let's be honest. So some things that you want to focus on. Number one, you need to be eating regularly throughout the day. You know this. If you wait too long to eat, you're going to be starving. You're going to be scarfing down your food super fast. You're going to grab whatever's quick, whatever's easy, and you're just going to like eat it like there's literally no food tomorrow. So if you eat regularly, you're not going to have this need to eat so fast because you're not going to be super starving. And I actually just got off a call with my clients inside of the Ditch Decade Diets Academy. And one of my clients, she said, I don't really get like this really hungry feeling in my body. And I said, that's not a bad thing. Like I actually don't really either. Throughout the day, I usually don't get to a point where I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so hungry, because I eat regularly throughout the day. So I don't get like, oh my gosh, hurry up, I need to eat something. And I was telling my client on the call that I had a coaching call with my academy clients at 1:00 Eastern. And right before, it was like 12:15, I wasn't like starving, but I wasn't like super hungry for lunch, but I knew that the call was going to be about an hour. So it'd finish around 2:00 my time. And I knew that if I didn't eat lunch before then, I would be way too hungry at 2 o'clock. So I decided to eat something still, like a little bit of a smaller meal. Well, it wasn't a small meal, it was a pretty decent sized meal, but I decided to have something because it was way better to actually have something than wait an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes and then be so hungry. Right? So if you're eating regularly throughout the day, you're going to eat slower because there's no rush. You're not starving. You're not, oh my gosh, I didn't eat, I'm so hungry. And then you just scarf food down your throat. So eating regularly throughout the day is a must if you want to stop eating super fast. The second thing is you need time to eat. Now, I know like you probably have a million and one things to do, like you're dropping this person off or you're picking this person up or you got to go to this meeting or you have this appointment or whatever it is. But if you're go, go, go all day and you're eating in your car, grabbing something quick as you hurry up, run out the door, of course you're going to be inhaling your food, right? And I actually told this to one of my clients a while back on a coaching call, and she was literally mind blown. And I said, the pace of your life impacts the pace of your eating. If the pace of your life is super fast, well, your eating's going to follow that. You're living a fast-paced life. Why do you think you're not going to just slow down all of a sudden when you're eating? Your life is fast-paced. So your eating is going to follow that. So if you slow down your life, your eating's going to also start to slow down. You know, those like, maybe you have a friend and she's like always late, or she's like always running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And like, she's going here and she's going there. Like, there's no way she's like sitting at the table and lighting a candle and taking deep breaths. And like, there's no way. She's probably eating as she's running out the door, or eating in her car as she's on her next, onto the next adventure. Like, that's just the way that it is, right? So if you can slow down the pace of your life a little bit, the pace of your eating is going to follow that. Obviously, this is not always realistic if you got kids and you got a busy job, but everybody can make time to eat. I love my job. I can literally work from the morning until the time that I go to bed, but I prioritize sitting down at the table and eating my meal, right? It doesn't have to be an hour long, but even just dedicating that time to sit down and to enjoy your meal. Like, food is meant to be enjoyed, but if you're just like grabbing something quick and eating it on the go, you're not going to enjoy it. And you need pleasure. And I talk about this a lot, but if you're not enjoying your meals, you're not extracting that pleasure because you're eating so fast, that's often when binges happen, especially in the evening, because it's like, oh, I just quickly had a banana before I rushed out, and lunch, oh, I just grabbed something quick. You're not satisfied, you didn't extract pleasure, and then boom, you start binging at night. Now, the third thing that you can do to slow down your eating is to actually put your utensils down. It's so often when you're eating, it's like your head is down, you've got your fork in the food, you're putting it in your mouth, and you're just like looking down and you're just constantly like shoving food down your throat. But I heard this phrase once and it's so powerful. If there's food in your mouth, there's no food on your fork. Meaning, if you're already chewing something, like, take a minute, put your utensils down before you start the next bite. And I actually really love eating with people because it forces you to like take a minute. Even on the weekend, I celebrated my dad's birthday. We were all, going out for dinner and we were having conversations. So you take a minute, you eat, you take a minute, you have a conversation, and then you go back. And that actually allows you some time to like check in. Am I still hungry? Am I even enjoying this food? Is it tasting good? Is it what I wanted? Am I getting full? Am I still hungry? You can check in. But if you don't take a minute to put your utensils down, like, you could literally be an autopilot and then you didn't even know that you were full 5 minutes ago. And then again, all of a sudden you finish your meal and you're like, oh shit, like I am so full, right? So take a minute, put your utensils down, check in with your body, and that will really help to kind of create a little bit of a pattern interrupt. Even if it's for a moment, just pause before eating. Now, the fourth tip I want to give you is to engage in all of your 5 senses. What do you smell? What do you taste? right? Like, is the food even good? What do you feel? Like, okay, I'm going to feel my sit bones on the chair. I'm going to feel my feet on the ground. Maybe even if you're sitting on a chair, which I recommend you be seated when you're eating. You shouldn't be eating standing up. When you're seated, it's like, okay, I feel my sit bones on the chair. I feel my feet flat on the floor. I feel my back connected to the chair behind me, right? That's what you feel. What do you see? Maybe you see, I don't know, if you're sitting at the kitchen table and you have a window, maybe you see somebody walking their dog. Maybe you see a car driving by. Maybe you see people, whatever it is. And then what do you hear? Maybe you have a fan going on in your kitchen and you hear the fan. Maybe you're, I don't know, listening to some music or something like that. Like, what do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you taste? What do you smell? All of those things, your five senses, are going to reconnect you back to your body. And if you guys are wanting to stop when you're full, you need to be connected to your body. If you don't engage in your five senses, then it's going to be really hard to be able to stop when you're full because you're disconnected. And engaging in all of your five senses can really bring you back to that present moment. So you need to be eating regularly throughout the day. You need to have time to actually eat. Put your utensils down when you eat and engage in all of your five senses. You need to enjoy your food, you guys. It is nearly impossible to enjoy what you're eating when you're eating so fast. You can't taste the food. The food's not going anywhere. Like, take a deep breath, enjoy what you're eating. Like, there's no scarcity. If you're not enjoying your meals, like, you got to be enjoying your meals, not just check off the box like, oh, like, just had lunch. Like, you should look forward to your meals. You should be excited about them. You should give yourself time so you're not rushing. Like, oh, well, just got 5 minutes. There's no way, there's literally no possible way you can enjoy your meal when you're eating within 5 minutes. There's no way. There's no way. So utilize some of these strategies, these tools, these techniques so that you can eat slower, not inhale your food like it's a race, and actually start enjoying your food. Because like I said, if you're not enjoying your food, that's when you're going to find yourself at 8 o'clock trying to get joy and pleasure through binging, which you know is actually not pleasurable. Yeah, for 5 minutes, great. Feels good, tastes good, but the next thing you know, you're left with a stomach ache and you're feeling bloated and you're exhausted and you regret it. So those are the strategies that I have for you on how to eat slower, not inhale your food like it's a race. I hope you guys found this helpful. And as always, if you did find this helpful and you're just loving the podcast, it would mean so much if you can just leave a rating and a review on the podcast. Share what's been most helpful for you. It really does help get my message across to more people who are ready to conquer binge eating and heal their relationship with food.